So chat. This video, I didn't know what this was until like last week. I saw a subtext and some other people tweet out about it. Subtext, I think, did a stream on Sunday like 2 weeks ago or 2.5 weeks ago at this point. And he was like, new theories. And I saw this and I was like, okay, it's, more theories for FF7. Cool. I usually don't watch most of them other than, Subtext video he made a couple months back because like that was pretty big. But most of the recent ones I just haven't because like, I don't know. Let's just wait till part 3 comes out. There's all these guesses and all these things, which is exciting, but I feel like it's just been a loop of talking about the same couple things here and there. So I usually don't keep up with the theory stuff. However, Max also watched it on stream, and then I saw other people talking about it more, and they're like, "Oh, this is really cool." And then I have a friend message me 2 days ago, and was like, "Hey, this is actually pretty sick. I saw Max watch it, so blah, 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 blah. You should also watch it." I was like, okay, cool. So that's why I'm here to watch it, because we'll see if it's how good it is. I don't know. I didn't see really anybody's opinions on it yet, so I don't even know what it really covers. But I want to check it out. Like I said, I don't usually react to videos like this because I don't want to I don't want to just sit and watch a video for 30 minutes. But if you haven't seen it, go watch his John Q Gamer, like the OG vid first, or, go drop a like or do whatever. I don't know. Support the original vid first before watching mine if you want to watch mine. But let's hop right into it. I'm interested, man. I don't know. I don't know what this is supposed to be about. I don't know what the Shattered Planet mass, like, this is why FF7 Remake exists? I don't know what this is. Who knows? Let's see. The subtext video that was like an hour from like April or whatever earlier in the year, that was gas. When it was so good, it was so cool. I'm not like a big theory guy, like I said, but it was cool to hear different opinions, because that's always fun. So maybe this will be nice, a nice meal. But let's just watch a good meal before the part 3 trailer in the Game Awards.
What if I were to tell you that all along, from the very beginning, and especially right up to the end,
all right, let me know how the volume is,
has been telling us the answers to all of our questions, right in front of us the whole time, with many of the elements in Rebirth further expanding our understanding and supporting that assertion. What I'm about to present to you is something I haven't seen many people discussing, so let's break it all down.
The planet. Okay.
The first concept we're going to explore is the nature of the planet itself and how it actually functions. Here are some of the things we know about the planet of Gaia, as well as some associated questions.
Why does it say jump ahead? Stop.
May not have all the answers at this time.
No, don't do that.
According to Bugenhagen, planetology is, in part,
not simply the study of the cosmos and the celestial bodies that dwell in it.
Dude, I love FF7, bro.
It is a quest to comprehend the
God, I'm so excited for part 3.
That means that life and the planet operate in a...
Shout out people who do videos like this.
Convergence and divergence.
Like, even if this is totally wrong, and other videos in the like theory bros, whatever, even if all this stuff is wrong, I don't know. It's something to keep me occupied between the games, at least for Final Fantasy, because like, it's just so difficult. It's so like, I want to know, man. It's so like I've played Dirge now. I've played OG. I've been caught up on all the FF7 original stuff, like all the spin-offs, everything. So now I'm like, okay, there's nothing else I can do other than sit here and twiddle my thumbs. And I did since Rebirth came out of last year in February. And so, like, last year after Rebirth came out, up until, like, the summer, I was like, okay, it's been 4 or 5 months since the game released. Time to, like, just chill and just wait. I'm kind of, like, over all the talk because there's so much to talk about from February until, like, June. And so then I've been like, okay, let's just play other stuff, worry about other FF games. But now that it's been, like, almost over a year and a half, I'm like, all right. I'm in the mood again for FF7 stuff. So now I'm like intrigued all over again because it feels like it's coming back. We're getting more Hamaguchi interviews. We're going to get a trailer probably by the end of the year, even if we don't, the next 3 or 4 months. I I don't know. It's
which
exciting.
Of
But
continuous convergence.
yeah, this video could just make no sense and
which
be
can be
so
studied.
wrong, but it's still cool
We
to watch. It's
also
fun to
know
watch.
mankind was born
I'm sure it
from
will
its
be
soil, and
very
upon death, the body
interesting, though.
withers and returns to the planet. Similarly, the mind, spirit, soul comes from the life stream, and at the time of death,
Our bodies may disappear when we die, but our spirits still live on.
I think volume should be good. I
We
live for
return to
these.
the
Yeah, they do.
planet.
They're so good.
Rejoin the life stream, and in time give rise to new life.
we also know the life stream is
An apt name, though it is as much a reservoir as it is a stream, being the sum of the
Have a
planet's
good night, Lockie. Thank you.
spiritual energy.
the life stream is also comprised of the accumulated memories, emotions, knowledge, hopes, and dreams of every individual who has ever lived.
It is the very essence of our star, the blood coursing through its planetary veins. And if ever that essence were to be entirely depleted,
Planet runs out of energy. It and everything on it dies.
The planet
God, this cutscene
needs
is-
the life stream to survive.
Oh, Rebirth looks so good visually.
And the planet
The pre-rendered
has a will of
stuff
its
is-
own.
The flow of
mind-blowing.
the great river that is the planet, from inception to oblivion.
And it exercises that will via the Whispers.
Okay.
The
Yes.
Whispers are
Perhaps best described as arbiters of fate. They are drawn to those who attempt to alter destiny's course and ensure they do not.
Okay, I guess he's giving us like a little rundown of everything before, because we know all this stuff.
Like capital D? Destiny? And you're saying that that flow is somehow fixed?
So if we're destined for a bleak future, these whispers will try to keep us on that course?
They're led by the Whisper Harbinger, which is a weapon just as much as those featured in Rebirth.
Which
The
Hamaguchi
Whispers
interview talk
exist
about
and
the
function
Whispers
across all worlds
even
which make
more,
up the planet.
like a week from like a
The
week ago,
Whispers
I
can
think.
only be seen by those who defy destiny, or when coming into contact with someone who attempts to alter the course of destiny.
It's true.
Are you blind?
And as introduced in Rebirth,
The planet encompasses a multitude of worlds, ever unfolding. Some quickly perish, while others endure. Yet even the most resilient worlds are doomed to fade.
this new and mysterious concept of multiple worlds was fascinating for open-minded players who wanted the Final Fantasy VII they knew and loved, but more significantly expanded. Personally, I fell into this camp myself. As it turns out,
I don't
such a
know,
prospect
Shattered
was
Planets
concerning
theory,
for
I don't
players
know.
of the OG Final Fantasy VII, who would have preferred for Square Enix to have made an exact one-to-one remake of the original PS1 game with better visuals on modern hardware. In fact, this sentiment was vocalized enough that after Remake debuted in 2020, fans began to speculate whether the Whispers
Yes,
and their
there's a lot of
role as
people who
custodians
hate
to
where it
maintain the
goes
sacred
at the
course
end of
the
Remake
story's
and
events
Rebirth, which
were
is
meta-level reference by
valid.
the developers to represent purest
I like it,
fans'
but
desires for zero change to the original.
I do
game.
know quite a handful of people who
The
dislike
creatives
it
behind
as well.
Remake and Rebirth obviously made another call, however, and the concept of these worlds has become canon. But when and how does the planet decide to form these new worlds? And what causes them to be created?
God, I
Based on
remember
the
when Biggs
information
showed up at the end of
available in
Remake. That
Rebirth,
shit was so
it
crazy.
appears one way
God,
these worlds are born
that was
comes through a
crazy.
divergence from the intended will of the planet. When choices are made which branch from the course of destiny, it appears new worlds are potentially made as represented by a rainbow effect seen in Rebirth. However, in order for an individual to break from the will of the planet, a world containing that person must already exist in the first place. So
Okay.
it's reasonable to conclude that the planet also materializes worlds and populates them with all forms of life by tapping into the spiritual energy of the life stream, as stated by Bugenhagen
Okay.
previously.
So,
Additionally,
yeah.
one Rebirth NPC also theorizes that the planet may even create worlds from more metaphysical sources as well.
So, my parents are no longer with us. Here, that is.
So it's like,
I believe they're still out there.
there's a starting point,
plane.
and then it
I've
all
been
separate.
reading
It's
a
like,
bunch of
boom, 10
theories
different
about this
planets.
alternate world and
And they're all
hope
the
of
same.
going
And
there
then,
someday.
however those
And
planets
over the
play
course of
out
my
with
studies,
stuff, that's
I
just how they
stumbled
play
across
out.
a
Is that
fascinating theory.
is that how
It
what is it? What do you
addressed
mean? What
the
he means?
issue of what the life stream is, arguing that spiritual energy is actually
So it's not different
manifestation
universes,
of
but
our
it's just
knowledge
like
and memories. Like I said, it's a fascinating theory.
just different
but it's
outcomes.
incomplete. What about our hopes and dreams?
But there
We
still needs
remember
to be like
those,
a
don't we? So what if
zero, like
spiritual
a starting
energy
point?
doesn't distinguish between our real lived memories and the unrealized desires buried deep in our hearts? What if coming into contact with that energy allowed us to peer through the looking glass, so to speak? It's just an idea, but I hope to find the
God,
truth
so much of this
someday.
Cosmo Canyon stuff was
Aerith seems to
like,
back up this theory by indicating that one world
there's so
was
much dialogue
just call
from
it a
Cosmo
dream.
Canyon, even with Tifa on the
My
live stream
dream,
stuff. It was
to
cool.
be precise.
Was Aerith able to manifest the date world via the life stream using her hopes and dreams? We also know that all inhabitants of Gaia seem to have separate existences across these disparate worlds. But how exactly does this process work when a consciousness re-enters the life stream?
Also high
and
half the
helps in
time
the
canonically.
creation
Oh, they
of
are. I
new
didn't know that.
life? I think there's three main possibilities. Is a person's spiritual energy
Alright, here we go.
diffused and used to create new, completely different life within the same world where they died? Or is a completely new life created, but in a different world instead? Or, hear me out, are the people reborn as themselves, but in a different world? So their spiritual energy remains, but when new life is born out of the life stream, it's still them. Sephiroth is aware this multitude of world exists and is, at least in some manner, connected as one conscious being across the worlds. He also appears to exist outside of any specific world at the edge of creation as well. Sephiroth also uses the black robes to physically manifest himself and
Okay.
exert control and manipulation of people and events. Based on Aerith's uncanny knowledge of events during Remake,
Oh, so
And a soldier.
she
Cool,
lived
huh?
through her whole life in FF7
I
OG,
guess.
quote unquote. Then she was
From
born
sort.
again in the
in
remake
certain sequences of
planet
Rebirth,
or universe, whatever,
Whatever happens, don't blame
with all those
yourself.
memories because
is there
she's
enough
like,
evidence
you know,
to deduce that Aerith also
Aerith,
possesses some
she's
power
like-
which is not contained to singular worlds?
the go. Because she's obviously, you know, what's it called?
What do you mean?
All
Who's the red hair? Reno?
forever.
There's no such thing as forever.
We also learned that worlds that are fading or about to expire have a rift which becomes visible in the sky. But what's the nature of this rift
Yes.
and what does it exactly represent? If we take a look at Zack's experiences, a rift was not present in the skies of the Terrier world during the opening prologue of Rebirth. Zack
True.
only first sees it after being told by Elmira that people are saying the world is ending. But Elmira and the other NPCs of the Sector 5 slums seem to have known about the rift for a while, and they most certainly wouldn't have grappled with why it was in the
Elmira.
sky or what it meant in the short time
Zack
it
and
took for
Elmira.
Zack to move Aerith and hide away from Shinra until
I
Elmira
see some
could come to
stupid
them.
shit on Twitter, bro.
So the reasonable conclusion
So funny.
is Zack couldn't have seen it at first, but then only could after Elmira mentioned it and recent events caused Zack
up,
to
Inochi? How you
feel
doing,
as
man?
though the world or his world could be ending. Are these rifts only visible to people who have accepted that the world is going to end? And is that why only Cloud can see the one at the end of Rebirth, but the rest of the party cannot?
Don't look up.
Maybe.
Well,
Okay,
now
interesting.
I gotta look.
I wish I had more to like pause and talk
Fine,
about, but I'm just like
don't
I'm
let it
taking
get
it
to
in
you.
first. We probably have to get
Don't
through the
let
video like
what
halfway
get to
before
me.
I have thoughts. Jack XO Fire. How did that start, bro? This shit is so stupid. It's so funny though. So random. It's
Now
crazy.
that we've
That's
discussed at
Aerith's
least
mom,
three
bro.
potential
That's
ways
fucked
that
up.
various worlds might be created, how are these different versions of Gaia connected via the life stream? Do they share one life stream? Does each world have their own measure of the life stream? And how or why do worlds endure or fade at different paces? Is the length of their survival based on their own shares of the life stream? While we don't have enough information to make a concrete determination one way or the other about how the worlds exist and interact with the life stream,
I feel like the worlds, like, because at the end of Rebirth was Zack like splitting off, and then it was like the rainbow like going from the one way in the tunnel or whatever that we just saw. This part here, I feel like there's like I forget who talked about it, but like anchor characters, right? I guess this isn't anything new, but the whole thing, wasn't there like something about people thinking like Aerith or Zack or whoever, maybe he's Cloud or Sephiroth, I don't really know, or like anchor characters, so like if they die or if they like their fate is changed, then that world is like screwed. Wasn't that like one thing that people were talking about? Because like realistically at the end of the game when he's like driving away, he like dies still, and then the world gets fucked up, right? Isn't that a thing?
Measure of the life stream? And how or why do worlds endure?
I think that was another theory or something. Sorry, Trey. You know what I think? Everyone's gonna die. Yeah, it's true.
Is the length of their survival based on their own shares of the life stream? While we don't have enough information to make a concrete determination one way or the other about how the worlds exist and interact,
I think the one
stream,
like the anchor character thing is interesting,
details with which we can establish a small foundation to build upon in part 3.
but I wouldn't have an explanation. That's not that's not my job. I don't know why.
Seeing through to Aerith's dream world while he was sleeping, or when Aerith could feel Zack's hand.
Yes. Oh yeah, true.
We do know that it is possible for an individual world's portion of the life stream to dry up, as we saw that happen at the empty reactor in Rebirth.
Seems it's all out of Mako. Pump's still sucking away, but the only thing it's pulling up is dirt.
Meaning?
That the life stream's bone dry. Bomb one reactor, bomb them all. Planet's done either way.
I guess, yeah.
We also
I didn't
know
really think about that.
worlds
Yeah,
can be
why was it?
united or parted through external
I guess I
influence, which
assumed that it was
doesn't
just
come
like the
from
fault
planet.
of like Sephiroth.
Such
He was
as
just
when
like taking it
Sephiroth
away for
parted
whatever
Cloud
reason.
and Zack
But I guess
at the
there
end of
really
Rebirth.
wasn't an explanation.
Or when Sephiroth sent Zack between worlds at the church. And we know worlds can also be merged into one another via external intervention.
On some
which
Xenoblade
seems
shit.
At least in part what Sephiroth is up to. What
Literally
effect does this
Xenoblade 3,
merger
right?
have on the inhabitants of those worlds? And how does this type of merger impact the life stream?
Listen.
So like, I'm confused. What is the? I guess the videos. What's the? I still don't understand. What is the shattered planet theory like? We are on like the
also
remake
clues
games
into the
are on
idea
like
that something
a
feeds
fake
off of
planet or
negative
something?
Energy such as despair and grief, either Sephiroth himself, Genova, or the unification of these worlds. But why is Sephiroth trying to feed the planet with negative energy?
War.
There's
can
Cloud's
put
dad,
things
chat.
Right. Beget anger, desolation,
God.
hatred. And
I
in
hope
its
that's.
wake,
I don't actually have an
unity.
opinion if that's true or not. It's kind of
A
be silly,
people
but we'll see.
rejuvenated, and a planet once more made whole.
I don't think that's true. I think they're just doing it to
And
be
as a last
stupid.
question
But
around
we'll
this
see.
concept of a multitude of worlds, did they always exist and the planet has always been made up of them? I want to dig into that point specifically next, as I believe all of the lore and information we've already reviewed from Remake and Rebirth can aid us in not only understanding the mechanics of how
It's silly, but their
the planet
resemblance
and
is
its
crazy.
worlds function,
Yeah, I think the whole like Glenn Cloud thing is like, I wouldn't put it past Hamaguchi or Kitase or Nomura, whatever, whoever. You know, it's like a team of people, but I wouldn't put it past any of them to be like, hey, we're gonna have this thing that has lots of similarities or like lots of things that line up with this other thing. And for example, you know, this is Cloud and Glenn. But it will actually not be connected. Like, I think that, like, games or shows or movies that I've seen, or, like especially with sci-fi stuff, too, I feel like there's been times, not all the time, usually it is connected, where something like two characters or two things feel very similar, and then, like, oh, wait, there is a connection. That's usually the case, right? Like, for Cloud and Glenn here. But I feel like I wouldn't put it past them that they're not going to be connected for the sake of, like, oh, guys, like, we did this because, you know, to make you guys think about it, or kind of, like, think that they are, like, father and son or whatever, right? Like, that seems more likely than not. I don't know. I don't write video games. I don't. This is why this is not my job, because I don't know, and I'm not sure if that would be a good idea or a bad idea or what. But I feel like that's more likely than it happening. Because, like, what would be the point of being like, yeah, Glenn is Cloud's dad? Like, I don't know how that wouldn't really, like, what would that do for the story? Like, that wouldn't really add anything other than be like, oh my God, like Glenn, I don't even know. Like, Glenn was with young Sephiroth, like, in Ever Crisis, and then, you know, young Sephiroth caught, like, the Masamune. I don't even know how that happened. We didn't watch episode 2 yet. But, oh yeah, Glenn was with young Sephiroth, and now Cloud is the enemy of Sephiroth. Like, that's, like, the only thing that maybe, which doesn't still make much sense, that they could connect the two for. Like, I just feel like there wouldn't add anything to that. Like, Cloud being like, oh my God, that's my dad. Like, what would that do, right? Like, I just don't think that would. And, you know, maybe there's something else we don't know of, and I'm sure that's what it could be. But, like, I just don't. Like, if that was a real thing, then I just don't see where that could connect with any other of the plot lines to, like, make something interesting. You know what I mean? I don't know. But they put as much as possible in this game to make us talk more about it. Yeah, there's, like, a lot of stuff. I just don't, I don't know. I think the Glenn thing is just, it's a coincidence because they're all soldiers and they worked for Shinra and they all dealt with Sephiroth, right? And so there's parallels, but they're parallels for the sake of parallels. They're not parallels for the sake of them actually connecting. But I don't know. I could be wrong. Who knows?
Reasonable answer to this question and its greater impact on what's to come.
They could do it in a cool way, but I just don't know what that would be.
We can start putting these pieces together.
I don't doubt.
One more topic which looms over everything in Remake and Rebirth, which must be discussed.
FF10 is not a part of the FF7 universe. There's just no way. That makes no sense. But hey, keep believing.
We don't know about Jenova.
Nothing wrong with.
Obviously, the devs have been intentional about holding back key pieces of information to.
Okay, here we go.
In Part 3.
Some Jenova stuff.
But even if we look across the entire compilation of Final Fantasy VII, from the original game to now, so much of the
I'm so excited for more Lucrezia stuff in Part 3 as well. After playing Dirge, it's like
don't have anywhere close to a puzzle box to know what the
it seems like she's got a lot of stuff that they could really flesh out.
And Rebirth
that would
us with just enough
make sense
that we
and actually matter to the overall story.
And get a rough idea of what parts of it will look like. Let's review what we do know. Jenova came from space and crashed on Gaia roughly 2,000 years ago.
True.
Long ago,
God, the Temple of Ancients section was so long, man. It was good, but it was just
found in strata
it's a long part. Like the beginning areas, it was cool, but I don't want to replay that section. So, you know, that's not a great feeling.
So I dubbed her Jenova.
It's dreading the replay.
This raises
even though I've replayed the game 3 times, but
actually came to Gaia. Did Jenova arrive via the Gi's homeworld that it had already consumed? When Gi Natak is narrating during the final
I forgot about the Gi, man.
He describes the end of their homeworld.
With the passing of eons, the star we called home began to wane.
Oh yeah.
Until at last it was subsumed by your own. The earth shook. Seas boiled, skies shattered, and time
So they merged?
Few of my people survived the chaos
like what
and calamity.
Like what happened
Those
with Sephiroth showing us in the live stream thing.
Here. But to the planet, we were not welcome. Not in life, nor in death.
Jenova is referred to as the Calamity from the Skies, and is a destroyer of worlds. And according to Bugenhagen, the Gi arrived many millennia ago. Is it possible that these two are connected? One additional possibility is that the Gi summoned Jenova via the black materia before the Cetra could steal it. Gi Natak stated,
"From the planet, we claim the greatest of materia, a most sacred treasure, and imbued it with our desire for freedom."
Dude, the voice actor for this guy is so much aura. It's so cool. Oh, this section was awesome.
And thus did we rejoice, knowing that salvation was within our grasp.
Perhaps as the Cetra locked away the black materia, Jenova arrived as a result. Or is there some other explanation entirely for Jenova's arrival? Jenova also possesses an ability to mimic the dead.
Did she destroy her world? Like their world? And then they came over here, and then now she's just hopping between each planet to destroy all of them? Like, is that what?
For the children of men feared us.
Like she's just jumping through space-time shit? Is that?
Perhaps their enmity was seeded by our celestial adversary. None can say.
I will say, I hope that the Gi section in part 3, which there obviously will be a nice part, a nice chunk, or maybe hopefully there will, because that's all they get in the original game is they show up for like 2 seconds, in Cosmo Canyon or whatever. Or dude, I don't even remember the Gi when I played OG. I'm not gonna lie. There was like a couple dialogue lines, but there's not much. So I hope in part 3 there's more, because they're really cool. I just hope that they get like a solid part that isn't kind of like thrown right after something, because Cosmo Canyon is lovely. It's just, you do the Seto, right? There's the whole thing with Seto in Nanaki and whatnot, and it's like very sad, emotional, and it's like, boom, Gi Natak. Now you're on this river, and it's like a lot of cool stuff back to back to back, but even if it's a lot of, there's sometimes too much good, right? And that amount of good can happen too quickly, and that's part of the rebirth problem. Which there's not that many instances in the game where like that happens, but I think I kind of wanted to like sit in that emotional state, turmoil, whatever, and kind of be like, oh, yes, I am sad. I'm crying or whatever. Like, I feel the pain of the characters or the sadness of Nanaki in the sense of Cosmo Canyon. And, like, be able to, like, really marinate in that for a while, right? Like, and that's my problem with, like, FF16, for example, or just other games in general, is a lot of emotional moments will happen, and they won't kind of sit in that for long enough. And so it will either feel like, one, it's a fake out death and they'll come back, which a lot of times has happened in certain games before, or it's just, that's just how it is, and you don't feel sad about the death, and you're like, damn, that kind of sucks, because now they're dead, or something happened to this character that's like hugely important to their character arc or the story, and like you don't feel that weight. And that happened, like I said, in 16 a lot with some character deaths. It will like it feels like it glosses over it, or it's like sad music plays, they die, 10 seconds later, boom, next thing happens. It's like, no, it's like emotional whiplash, and I don't know. That's just I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, I'm stumbling over my words now. But I hope that is kind of fixed in part 3. And kind of not with the Gi Natak stuff, because the Gi Natak stuff wasn't like emotional, but I'm just saying when it comes to like major story segments, I hope they have the time to breathe, because Rebirth has a lot of big things that are important to the plot, that like a video like this is nice to watch, because it's like, oh my god, I forgot about that thing, because I heard about thing number 1 and thing number 2 and then 3 other things right after, and it all blends together, and it's all really cool and important, but you can only like pay attention so much and take up so much information as you're playing a video game, until it starts to get jumbled, or the words just turn into words that go out the other end. But yeah. Sorry. That's bad story development? Yeah. Yeah.
That stole the faces of the dead.
I think it's more of a pacing thing. You can have a lot of good story moments and they're paced badly, but if they're paced better, it could totally change a lot of things in any medium. You know what I mean? Like an extra 30 seconds to minute or two. Sorry, I'm still talking. I don't want to talk over the video because I want to listen to it. Like another 30 seconds or a minute or 2 minutes of like sad music or that emotional moment, like for the audience or the player or whatever, that could totally change something. Like I'm trying to think of an example. I can't really think of an example right now, but I guess FF16, the ending of the game, a certain character does not live. Not the ending, but a part of the story in the last 10 hours. And I was like, oh, they're going to come back. I was like, oh, they'll come back. Because, like, they died, and then it just happened, and then the next thing happened right away. And I was like, oh, yeah, they'll be back. Like, I really like the character, too. They're really cool. And then they never came back, and I was like, oh, that's really weird to have that just, like, happen. And then epic music plays afterwards. Like, what? Whoa. Like, I want to, like, feel sad, and I want to feel those things. It's not... Because it's sad, it doesn't mean you want to gloss over it. You want to feel the emotions, especially because it's like a video game. It's a movie. It's whatever. You want to feel those things. If it's real life, obviously you don't want to feel sad, but it's not real life. It's a game. You're supposed to feel connected and attached to these characters. If something happens to them and you don't feel that way, then that's on the game or the medium or whatever.
Mothers and fathers,
but I've exhausted the conversation.
With their voices did it sow the seeds of discord among our people, among the children of man.
The Cetra were the original stewards of the planet prior to Genova's arrival.
God, this cutscene was so cool.
They could communicate with the planet to understand its desires and needs. And we know the Cetra stood against Genova, just as they did the Gi.
True.
It has ever been our sacred duty to protect our planet against any who would threaten it. They who came from without were one such threat.
Jesus.
Lastly, we know that Genova was successful in basically killing off pretty much almost all of the Cetra.
Alas,
yeah.
The ancients themselves are long gone. 2,000 years ago, a meteor brought an end to their civilization.
Regardless, we have been forsaken by fate, abandoned to unquenchable anger and unbearable grief, condemned and driven forth, powerless to forestall the coming of our end.
Okay.
For the planet did we lay down our lives in battle, and in death returned to her embrace.
But before their fiery end, did the ancients find their promised land? Even now, we have only to wonder.
However, since Genova did not originate from the Lifestream, it couldn't rejoin the Lifestream, just as the Gi could not.
Those not born of the Lifestream can never join its flow. One cannot return to that from which one did not arise.
Yet our adversary did not. Could not. Thus did it fall into a deep slumber. And in the long silence of its sleep, it was given the name Genova.
Now that we've explored the nature of the planet, its multiple concurrent realities, the Lifestream which bridges them, and the external entity known as
so because it can't join the Lifestream, it just hopped from one planet to the next? Is that what he means? Like, because if the Lifestream connects like all the planets or whatever, and like that's how like Aerith, when she put her hand into the water, she could like feel it because they're connected. Because Genova can't be connected or like can't go into it, she just hops from like the literal planet to planet because there is no like actual connection between the planets or something like that, right? Maybe? I don't know. Yeah, because like, there's only one? I don't know.
I'll start to fit some puzzle pieces together in a manner which makes the most sense to
John,
me.
explain.
And to do so,
I don't do that. I'm not good at this. I'm watching this video just for you to tell me, man. I'm not a theory guy.
How exactly did the Cetra manage to stop Genova? Genova was a life force from beyond the Cetra's own world. Its nature was unknown to the ancients, and Genova possessed the power to adjust its appearance, speech, and behaviors to imitate other creatures We know from the scene in the Temple of the Ancients that the Cetra teamed up with humans to fight Jenova.
Yes.
From what we've learned, the Cetra essentially went almost extinct, and the only result their alliance with the humans could muster was to force Jenova into a form of stalemate and stasis. But how is this achieved? Perhaps the Cetra knew enough about the planet to be aware of its multiple worlds, and how the lifestream connects them. But even if they did, how would that help them in their battle to subdue Jenova? Here's the reasonable explanation to me, and the case I'll make for how the blurry picture on the puzzle box looks to me.
So they just sent it to a different planet.
The planet was
from their main one.
Whole and served as the home of the ancients.
Was this Google Planet or Google Maps or whatever? Look how laggy it is.
They were unable to beat this alien entity, and with the survival of the planet they loved at stake, they were forced to split their home into multiple realities. The first rainbowed action, perhaps?
Here we go.
The Cetra used their knowledge of the lifestream to divide the planet into a multitude of worlds, and by doing so, Jenova, who was unable to be absorbed into the lifestream, was instead pulled apart and splintered across all those worlds.
Okay.
It's reasonable to conclude that the Cetra, having immense and intimate knowledge of the planet and the lifestream, might have been the first to break the will of the planet, with the understanding that it would split the planet into multiple worlds, and that all life of the planet would continue via the lifestream. However, Jenova would be unable to wreak havoc upon the planet in its disassembled state.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's kind of what I was saying-ish.
Were created by the
or what I was
planet as
getting
a
that he was
reaction
putting
to
down.
the Cetra's defiance and subsequent disappearance. Without the Cetra to care for it, the planet may have formed its first weapon, the Whisper Harbinger, as a means of ensuring its own will is followed. Based on this theory, the events which play out on an individual world are unable to bring about a final resolution for Sephiroth, Jenova, or the Gi, because those events are contained to that single reality. As such, it stands to reason that in order for anything to truly affect these aspects of our story,
it needs to happen
the disparate worlds
and converge
of the planet
into
would
one.
need to come back together, a homecoming of sorts. And since we have yet to see anything
just
across
like
all
Cloud,
of the worlds of Final Fantasy VII that resembles the actual promised land,
so maybe instead of a meteor at the end of the game, it's a giant planet crashing into ours to converge.
Just look around.
So that, you know, it can become whole, and then Jenova can like destroy everything again. It's just, yeah, maybe instead of a meteor, it's just a planet, which is technically still a meteor, kind of, but it's just a really, really big meteor, an even bigger meteor, and it's going through the rift, the crack of the rift. It's just, we'll have the rift in the sky, and it'll be like teared open with like a planet going through it on some like Xenoblade shits. Maybe I don't know.
Not with all this sadness and anger.
This place. Is it the promised land?
And then, yeah, so we'd want to stop it still, obviously, right?
I'm sorry, but I don't think it is.
And then the other Aerith would be on the other planet. So
it's also logical that
she could help us, because the one
tell of a time
the one on our planet died, and she'll come back and help. Maybe
made whole.
That could make sense. Maybe, kind of. I don't know.
To them, probably seemed like a distant promise to return the land back to how it was before.
Unto her promised land shall we one day return.
That's true, though, Edison.
By her
I get
loving
that.
grace and providence, may we take our place in paradise.
If this is truly how the puzzle fits together, it appears Sephiroth may have figured out the box's cover art as well, with his words and actions backing it up. Let's evaluate what we know about Sephiroth and his master plan, based on what has been presented in Remake and Rebirth. Cloud believes
he wants to finish what he started. He wants
the
to
whole
reclaim
converging
his
thing would
birthright
make sense, because like
and rule over
there's
the
a multiple
planet with Jenova at
homecomings
his
that would
side.
happen in the game, you know what I mean?
Aerith seems to think he's going against the way that things should be.
Like there's a lot of multiple versions
And
of
you,
things coming back together.
You're wrong. Everything about you is wrong.
There's no such thing as forever.
No. You're wrong.
We also know Sephiroth doesn't want Cloud to die, Rather, he wants Cloud's help.
I have a favor to ask. Our beloved planet is dying. Slowly, silently, painfully. Can you bear to see the planet suffer? Cloud. That which binds us together would be no more, and I would be loath to live in such a world, which is why I must ask you this one favor. Don't worry, it's a simple thing.
Dude, this shit is in the first like 30 minutes of Remake, or
Run away.
hour and a half. This is after what's it called?
You have to leave.
Sector 7.
You have to live.
Bombing run, whatever.
Careful now. That which lies ahead does not yet exist.
What the fuck does he say that? I don't remember that. What the fuck? I don't remember that line. What the hell?
Our world will become a part of it one day, but I will not end. Nor will I have you end. Cloud,
God, there's so much random
lend me
bullshit
your
Sephiroth
strength.
says. It's all gonna make sense in part 3, but there's just so much shit he spews since
Let
the
us
first game.
defy destiny.
It's so
together.
crazy. It's cool. Looking back at it now, it's like this is cool. Because I haven't looked at remake stuff since
How
pre-Rebirth,
very stubborn of you.
and even then I
Perhaps
sped
you
through the
need
game, so it's been
A little push.
a while.
Sephiroth wants the
But I
Black
played Remake like
Materia,
5 times at this point, so
presumably to call forth a meteor capable of causing catastrophic damage to the planet, as seen in Shinra's visual entertainment hall during Remake and also shown in Rebirth. Guy Natak also all but confirmed this function of the Black Materia when he begged the party to return it to the Guy.
Our ultimate salvation is cessation. It is nothingness.
oh yeah, we're just not
Our
gonna give it
wish
to
is
him.
not to exist, but rather to no longer exist.
It's hard to feel at ease around folks whose only desire is death. And if the planet won't let them have it, well, who's to say they won't let the planet have it?
We ask that you retrieve it. The Black Materia, key to our oblivion. Please. It alone can liberate us from this endless dream.
Sephiroth appears to
God,
have needed
so
the
cool.
party to
So
help
cool,
destroy the
dude.
Whisper Harbinger
Ugh.
and break the planet's hold over Destiny so he could take control of the Whispers himself. Perhaps to unbind those who were born on Gaia from the planet and the lifestream and maybe bind them to whatever Sephiroth wants to create?
They're not bound to the planet, and so she rejects them.
Oh.
Because you have to come from the life stream to return to it.
Oh, we're talking about the Gi, not the Whispers.
All born are bound to her. Should this world be unmade, so too shall her children.
So despite his desire to obtain the Black Materia and summon Meteor, outright destruction of the planet doesn't seem to be Sephiroth's actual intent. However, when Sephiroth grabbed the Black Materia in Rebirth, he called it
The key, which grants access to the true counterpart hidden between worlds.
And we know Sephiroth didn't want the remake Beagle world to have a white materia, because when Cloud still possessed it
Well,
after
is the
his
black-
time spent in Aerith's dream world, Sephiroth stated,
That doesn't belong here. Very poor form.
while we don't have enough information by the end of Rebirth to understand why, the existence of a white materia is clearly not something Sephiroth wants. And perhaps he even formed the singularity at the end of Remake, knowing Aerith would need to use or empty her white materia to modify it as she did, thus his way of getting rid of it? And the concept of a reunion has been referenced
I don't know,
many,
bro. I
many
don't know.
times.
I can't think of something. I'm trying to think of things. I just can't. I'm too stupid for this.
The future is bright.
It's really interesting and it's so exciting, but I just don't know. I'm no Maximilian dude. I'm no subtext. I'm no NSP. Okay, I'm not built for this.
And based on some very specific lines of dialogue during the Temple of the Ancients, it seems extremely plausible Sephiroth is trying to reunite all of the worlds which make up the planet with the intention of making it and Genova whole.
Yeah, that makes sense. The whole black and white materia getting stolen between different worlds always confused me. Yeah, the materia stuff I don't make. That's the most confusing part about everything, I think. Because we have the least info about, like, the black and white materia and what they kind of do. Or, like, not what they do, but, like, what they are going to do, like, obviously. Yeah, because it... Other than, like, he's gonna call Meteor, and then, like, she'll stop, like, Aerith will stop Meteor. Like, it's more than that at this point. So, I don't know. Unless the black materia is, like... Because Sephiroth was like, yeah, it's the thing between the planets or the life stream or something, right? So, I don't know, man. I have no clue. I don't know.
Claim my birthright.
For what they would do beside the original reasons.
It shall encompass worlds unbound by fate and histories unwritten. My fragmented mother, these errant worlds, all shall be one again.
The reunion.
All made whole. Forever.
Okay, so yeah. That makes the whole, like, planets coming together thing makes sense. And Genova's just split between them. But
this statement seems to tie back to what Sephiroth said in the Nibelheim reactor way back at the beginning of Rebirth.
Together we will reclaim our world.
Which also makes sense why Sephiroth would be more human than not at the end of part 3 with Safer Sephiroth with that art from Nomer that we got.
No need to be sad,
because he'd be whole.
Because I'm here for you. Now.
Because his human form would be on this planet, right? And so all his I don't know. That doesn't make sense. So never mind. I don't know.
One world as Shinra thought, but instead only exists when all of the worlds are united as one?
Maybe.
Sephiroth's every move appears to be leading to a reunification
God, he looks
of the
insane
worlds of the
right there.
planet
Holy
and
shit.
Genova,
God.
as foretold by the Cetra in the Temple of the Ancients.
It's upon us. The reunion. When worlds merge. When spite and sorrow are harvested to feed the planet.
Like, the worlds thing does make sense, though, because especially with the end of Rebirth, with, like, the flashes between Aerith and, like, Tifa holding Aerith in her arms and, like, it not being Tifa and Cloud and, like, whatever that whole thing was. It's, like, some canon event shit.
The evidence to that effect, there's still one disturbing part of Sephiroth's plan that I still want to address.
Or, like, maybe there's, like, I don't know.
Seen across multiple worlds, it appears Sephiroth is intentionally hunting Aerith in every world with the intent to kill her.
Yeah, because the white materia is going to stop his shit, so of course he wants her dead.
Herself, twice.
So this is where you've been hiding, in a world that has accepted its fate. Just as you must.
How can you want this, Sephiroth? How can you want an eternity of loneliness?
Be gone. Your part is played.
With this context, when Aerith runs at the introduction of Sephiroth's theme during the opening of the remake, a whole new meaning is added to that moment.
Yeah, this intro is, like, very clearly, like... Because at the end of OG7, the first shot is, you know, this, or, you know, her face, so...
go through such effort? Besides
it's
being
very intentional.
Vindictive, what reason
Why?
did he have to
I don't know, bro.
hunt her down?
But it's clear. Like, that's...
I believe we have a couple of clues to Sephiroth's intent. As we reviewed earlier, after people die and enter the lifestream,
Theory crafting is too much. Yeah, I'm not smart enough for this.
The lifestream then gives rise to new life.
I'm not worrying about it, but I like FF7 content, and this is a cool video, so I'm watching it.
Sephiroth's endgame has something to do with the creation of a forever, in which the cycle of life and death would be disrupted.
Ah.
I have some thoughts, though. I'm going to wait till the video's done. It's almost done. I have some things to talk about.
Our world will become a part of it one day, but
I'm so interested in what they're going to do with Aerith, because she's going to come back, right? It just depends. How is she going to come back? When is she going to come back? What is she going to do? Because, like...
Sephiroth has been unifying worlds, resulting in the...
Sephiroth just says so much stuff about her fate in Rebirth for her to not have a huge part in Part 3. It's... I don't know, man. I know a lot of people are, you know... It's always the same 4 conversations about Part 3 and death and all this random bullshit. But, like, it is genuinely very exciting to see what they'll do with that. Because, I don't know. It's exciting but scary because, like, I don't know. It's just interesting. Like, what is she going to do?
To the planet, Cloud. To her ecstatic cries, her rapture.
Screaming! It's screaming!
What you heard just now were the voices of the planet. Those born into this world, who lived and who died.
And what's good? What the fuck is up with Zack, bro? Zack, oh God, Zack is so useless.
Because of him, Sephiroth?
Hopefully he does something actually worth it in Part 3. He does nothing in Part 2, bro. But let me finish the video. Let me stop talking.
All these moments and memories, precious and fleeting, they're like rain rolling off his back. And
Kill Zack.
when they're gone,
Jesus
he won't
Christ.
cry or shout or anything.
From this, we can deduce that if people have died and their essence or consciousness is in the life stream at the time those worlds are unified, they may cease to exist.
That makes sense.
And on the flip side of that coin, what would happen to the multiple versions of everyone who are alive and not in the life stream at the time Sephiroth successfully executes the final unification? Do all of the worlds converge and suddenly there's a single version of every living person who ends up in
it's gonna be on some Thanos shit
and live together? But if Sephiroth really is trying to create an eternity where no one dies, it's entirely possible Sephiroth is trying to eliminate Aerith from all worlds prior to executing the final unification, leaving her spiritual energy in the limbo period across all worlds, so she wouldn't be present as the remaining Cetra to rival him in the new unified forever Sephiroth is creating.
Oh, yeah. Wait.
He has to be
Let him cook.
By a Cetra.
True.
And I'm the last.
Wait, that's a good point.
So there you have it. We set out to break down the lore and
he's
mysteries
on some like
Final Fantasy VII
Terminator bounty hunter
helping us all who were feeling exactly like Zack.
What in the hell is going on?
True,
And
Zack.
make the case
Shout
for
out
how
Caleb
these puzzle
Pierce.
pieces fit together in the way that makes the most sense. If you're with me and everything in this video makes a lot of sense to you,
I'm confused still, John. I'm not built for this, bro.
If you disagree or have your own take,
John, we gotta get in a call. You gotta talk to me about this, or someone else who knows what they're doing. Where's subtext? I need to talk to him.
Only played the remake series and are trying to remain spoiler-free until Part 3. I did my best to record this video without using any of the other information found in the Final Fantasy VII compilation, but I would just recommend being super careful when diving into the comments.
Good video, though.
Just in case folks.
Good video, though. Wow, good timing. I was gonna say, I'm confused, but nothing on John.
To Blitz for helping
Blitz
me to give
too.
shape to the ideas bouncing around in my head. Go check him out on YouTube, Twitch, and all the socials. Also be sure to check out Kilka Beats, who provided all of the fantastic lo-fi tracks that are found
Is it copyright
in this
free?
video. You can find
might have
their
to use
awesome
their
video
stuff.
on YouTube and linked in the description as well. And also to my wife,
Probably
who's
not.
been so supportive as I've started diving into content creation. Thank you so much for exploring these topics with me, and I'll see you in the next video.
Cool. Interesting. Well, there we go. Okay, hold up. So, like, I think the main idea is that the multiverse is not just a convenient plot device. It was means by which the Cetra will combat Nova, and it's consistent with the FF7 OG logic. Yeah, That would make sense. Yeah, that would make sense. I don't think the multiverse stuff is a convenient plot device. Does it not make it like it? Multiverse stuff is kind of it's so hit or miss with so many people. So like you have to do it exceptionally well. It's like so good for it to not come off as like, oh yeah, there's just another version of this because now we can bring this thing back or do this or whatever. Like most of the time in a lot of stuff, it usually is because it just comes off as lazy, even if, the writing is really good or whatever. I'm not one to say what writing is good or not because, like, I just play games. So I'm not, super harsh when it comes to this stuff. But, like, I, especially recently with, like, Marvel and a lot of superhero stuff also doing multiverse things, it does a lot of the time kind of lose, like, stakes. But yeah, it's hard to, like, really gauge it with Remake unless you're like totally doomer about it, because obviously we don't have part 3, right? Which is like, at the end of the day, it all comes down to, with all the videos we've gotten so far in the past year and a half, it's like, we gotta wait till part 3. But, I think it's fun to like at least hear other opinions and thoughts, because I'm sure there will be some little tidbit in this video that will be like, oh yeah, John said that. Oh yeah, Subtext said that. Oh yeah, any of the other FF7 people who make videos, which, I don't know all of them or know of all of them. So I'm missing people, I'm sure. But, like, I'm sure there'll be some bits and pieces here and there because, like, people are clearly picking this stuff apart. But, yeah, I don't know. I think that would, like, make sense with the whole multiple planets, like, splitting Genova up, whatever. Like, even when I played FF7 Original last year, with going back to the Forgotten City or Capital, whatever, and, like, seeing on when you're with Bugenhagen, it's the party, or it's like Cloud and whoever with Bugenhagen, and you go back and you look at the orb, and then you have to go in the submarine and get that random bullshit under the water to bring it back to Bugenhagen. And he's like, oh yeah, that's the piece that activates this. And you're like, what the fuck? Makes no sense. Beside the point. That part, when you see like the orb of like stuff that happened, I believe, like I think that also, or whatever the orb, I don't know, I don't remember what it was exactly. I'm just vaguely remembering from last year. Like, that part, I think, will be super important in part 3, and how we will know about, like, okay, what's up with, like, Aerith? Like, what's happening with her? And what's happening with the, like, multiverse, multi-planet, multi-timeline, whatever you want to call it. I think it's more of, like, a multi-planet thing, seemingly, after, like, the Hamaguchi interviews. But it all means the same thing, practically. But, like, I think that will be a big part, because that, like, you, like, peek into the live stream or something. I don't remember what it is. I talked about it when I played OG last year, but I don't know. Yeah, I think it makes sense that he didn't go into stuff that would pop up in part 3 from the original game for, like, spoiler's sake. But I think there's so much, even for someone like me who didn't play the original before Remake or Rebirth, and I jumped into the original last October after Rebirth. I was like, I wrote it down in my notebook, and I don't think I'll be able to find it right now. But there's multiple points through that playthrough that you can find on YouTube where I was like, okay, this thing happening now makes sense because this thing happened in Remake or Rebirth that connects to this. Or, oh yeah, this happening now later in the game, after Disc 1, like, stuff that happened, I was like, oh my god, like, this in part 3 will explain this and this and this. Like, a lot of stuff in the original, when I was playing, I was like, dude, I don't see the doom and gloom about the ending of the game, or like how it will all wrap up, because I feel like a lot of it does make sense with the original game and what is present in that last disc, or disc and a half, whatever you want to call it. I guess technically 2 discs. I think it all ties together, and there's obviously some things that need explaining, and the multiple worlds thing needs a bit more explaining, but a lot of the live stream stuff with Bugenhagen and the Forgotten City, Capital, whatever, when you go back, that you talk about later in the game, it all kind of, like, vaguely is reminiscent of what we are doing or, like, discover in the first 2 games. So, I don't know. I'd have to find a clip, or, like, I'll have to go back and look prior to part 3, or once we get the first part 3 trailer, I'll have to go back into those playthroughs and find those, like, talking points that I had, but I like, by the end of the original, I was like, I'm not worried about part 3. Like, I wasn't worried in the first place, but if I tried to like be in the mind of someone who really despised the ending of Rebirth, I still, by the end of the original game, I would not be worried, because it just, so much stuff happened, and I was like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Like, this could easily be expanded upon with the new stuff in the first 2 parts. And maybe people don't remember it because they just don't remember it, or maybe people are just, maybe they think differently, or a lot of people who are like making complaints, or which there's a lot of valid complaints, of course, or people who are also making theories, so not complaints, who are enjoying it as well, just haven't played the original in a while, or I don't know, but I just think there's just lots of stuff that would make sense. And like I said, I can't really think of it right now off the top of my head, so it's not really like, I'm not confirming, but backing up what I'm saying here, but I talked about it. And I'm not going to go into a tangent of what it is now, because it's out there on my playthrough of FF7 OG that I'll look at it another time. But good video either way, regardless. It was a good video. It was interesting. Is FF7 stuff. So I enjoyed it. I'll put in the link in the description of the YouTube video, because obviously, like, I don't want to like take anything from John. I got YouTube Premium, John. That's why there's no ads. Don't worry. You're getting that money, John. YouTube Premium actually pays more to the creator than watching the ads. So you're making an extra couple cents off me, John. Shout out. But speaking of the pacing from earlier, FF7 OG did at least do the coolest thing with the pacing. There's so much stuff was happening, so you potentially could not press it. I guess, yeah. I think also, though, in OG, when people are like, oh my god, you go snowboarding after Aerith's death, like 5 minutes after, it's like 45 minutes after. When I played the original, I was like, oh, I can't wait to snowboard. And, you know, Aerith's death happened, and I was crying. I was so sad. I was like, I knew this was going to happen, and I was crying, and, oh, I was absolutely destroyed. It was a very beautiful scene. And then the fight's done, right? Genova, whatever. Cutscene plays. You leave the Forgotten Capital City. God, it's capital, right? City? I don't fucking know. And then you go to the Icicle Inn, and then you get mad lore, and it's sick. And then you snowboard. It's like an hour after. It's not 5 minutes. It's like there's a lot that happens between her death and the snowboarding scene. The snowboarding scene is you leaving the fucking mountain. You go to the Icicle Inn, and you see the stuff with like Gast and what's her name? I forgot the name. Is it Aerith's mom? Is I forget what happens, but like the Hojo, whatever. The stuff at Icicle Inn was really, it's really interesting, and it's big to the lore, but like it's not directly. I was like, what are people talking about 5 minutes after Aerith dies? This is like an hour later, bro. There's a lot that happens. Like, maybe realistically, it literally is the zone afterwards. You go from her dying to the mountain snow zone, but literally being on the snowboard, that's not for like a while. So I don't know. I think, well, also just older games in general, things are slower, because that's just how, like, it was, right? Like, pacing in a lot of old games were slower, especially with JRPGs, is because, like, either technical limitations, or that's just how the pacing was, because they usually let things simmer more, or, like, having dialogue not being voiced, or having to walk to certain locations, or just, like, how the games were designed. It had a lot more tedium in play, because that's just how games were designed back then. So I don't know, but there it is. There's the video. I'm yapping my ass off about this, but it was cool. Shout out John.